You ever think your life is solid? Not perfect, but stable, predictable, comfortable enough that you don't question it. That was me. 31 years old, married for 4 years, living in a modest two-bedroom rental on the edge of Atlanta with my wife, Melissa. No kids, just us and our overly clingy dog, Milo. I had a stable job as a systems analyst for a logistics firm. I wouldn't say I loved it. It paid the bills, gave me weekends, and kept me out of trouble. Melissa worked part-time at a boutique downtown. She had an eye for fashion and spent most of her evenings curating her Instagram aesthetic, candles, coffee, cream-colored blankets, that kind of thing. Her page looked like a Pinterest board came to life. Ours, not so much. Our life wasn't dramatic. No major fights, no real romance either. Just silence. A lot of scrolling in separate rooms. A lot of, did you pay the electric bill? And we're out of oat milk. And can you let Milo out? We were living together like two coworkers who just happened to share a mattress. I used to think that was normal, that this was what settling down meant, that the spark from the early days would come back on its own if I just stayed the course. But deep down, I was craving something. More. I just didn't know what. Not until the night Milo changed everything. It was a random Tuesday. I came home from work, reheated leftover pasta, and went to pour a fresh batch of single-origin beans into the clunky plastic container we always used. I spilled half the bag. Milo came bounding in, skidded on the beans, and knocked over the container too. Coffee beans went everywhere. He was thrilled. I was not. I got down on my knees to clean it all up and paused. It was such a stupid moment. But that's when the idea hit me. Why wasn't there a better way to store specialty coffee beans at home? Something airtight, stackable, durable. Maybe with a built-in measuring scoop or dispenser. Something sleek, modern, designed for people who actually cared about their morning cup. And that's how Brew Vault was born. That same night, I stayed up past 4 a.m., sketching ideas on printer paper and Googling food-safe materials and manufacturers. I found a 3D printing lab nearby that did one-off prototypes. I ordered design software. I hadn't been this excited about anything in years. For the next few weeks, every free moment I had went into the project. My weekends stopped being about errands and Netflix. They became about prototyping, researching, emailing independent coffee shop owners, watching unboxing videos on YouTube to see what made customers excited. I was obsessed, but in the best way possible. And then came the night I decided to tell Melissa. I had just come back from picking up my first physical prototype. It wasn't perfect, but it looked real, like something you'd see on a shelf at a hip cafe in Portland. I set it on the kitchen table while she scrolled TikTok on the couch. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice casual. "Can I show you something I've been working on?" She looked up, half interested. "Sure." I set it in front of her. "It's called Brew Vault. It's a new kind of storage container for coffee lovers. Airtight seal, stackable design, eco-friendly materials. I've already had a couple small cafes agree to test it out." She blinked at me like I'd grown another head. "Wait, you're serious?" "Yeah, I think it's got potential." She laughed, not a chuckle, a full-on laugh. The kind you give someone when they say they're joining a boy band or becoming a magician at 30. "Babe, you sell a glorified coffee container from our dining room table. You think you're Elon Musk now?" The smile fell off my face. "I'm just saying, people are responding well to it." She shook her head, still grinning like it was cute. "Jake, you're 31. You're not a tech bro. You work in logistics. What, you're going to quit your job and go on Shark Tank?" I stood there stunned. I wasn't even asking her to believe in the product. I just wanted her to believe in me. But in that moment, I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen before. Contempt. It wasn't just doubt. It was mockery. And the worst part? She meant it. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake next to her in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word, every tone, every smirk. I wasn't angry. Not yet. Just disappointed. She didn't see it. She didn't see me. But I saw myself clearer than ever. And I wasn't going to let her disbelief be the final word. I tried to shake it off, and that night she laughed at me. I told myself maybe she was just tired. Maybe it caught her off guard. Not everyone gets it right away. I mean, this wasn't some flashy app or crypto coin. It was a coffee container, but it was mine, and it was real. I thought maybe if she saw it working, saw it gaining momentum, she'd come around. But she didn't. Instead, she doubled down. A few days later, I came home from work holding a small stack of new packaging designs I'd printed at the office. Clean matte labels, hand-cut with care. I was excited to show her. She glanced at them and snorted. "Another $60 down the drain, huh?" she said, flipping through them like they were grocery coupons. "It's not wasted," I said, trying to stay calm. "I've had 5 reorders from last week. One guy bought 2 for his cafe display. He said customers noticed it right away." She looked at me like I'd said I won a Grammy. "Oh, wow," she said sarcastically. "5 whole orders? Guess we're millionaires now." The words didn't even sting anymore. What hurt was the way she said them, so easily, like tearing down something fragile was just a reflex. It didn't matter that I was trying, that I was building. To her, it was still a joke. I was still a joke. The days started blurring together. Work, brew vault, silence, repeat. Melissa stopped asking me about anything. We passed each other in the hallway like strangers. She spent more time out, brunch with the girls, brand collabs, shoots with my content crew. At first I thought I was being paranoid, but then I noticed the wedding ring was gone. One night I asked her directly, "Hey, where's your ring?" She didn't even look up from her phone. "Oh," she said, brushing her hair out of her face, "it doesn't really match my aesthetic anymore." My mouth went dry. "What does that mean?" She shrugged. "It's just a chunky. Silver doesn't go with the gold tones I'm doing now. I might get one of those silicone ones, the cute minimalist kind." I stared at her, waiting for her to say she was joking. She never did. That night, I took Milo for a walk and didn't come back for 2 hours. I needed air. I needed space. I needed to breathe without feeling like I was sharing oxygen with someone who didn't even want to be there. The final straw didn't come with a fight. It came with quiet. I walked in one evening to find the closet half empty. At first, I thought maybe she was reorganizing. Then I saw the makeup drawers empty. Her favorite perfume? Gone. Jewelry? Gone. All her shoes, her bags, even the ridiculous faux fur coat she bought for an autumn content shoot? Gone. There was only one thing left. An envelope. It was lying flat on the bed. My name written in that soft cursive she always used when she labeled gift tags. I opened it, knowing exactly what it was. Inside was a handwritten note. 3 lines. No greeting, no goodbye. "I can't do this anymore. You've changed. I need someone who knows where his life is going. I'm staying with a friend for now. Don't call." That was it. No conversation. No explanation. No effort. She just left. Left me. Left Milo. Left the house. Left the dream. All because I believed in something she didn't understand. I sat down on the edge of the bed, that letter trembling in my hand, and for the first time in years, I felt hollow. Not angry. Not sad. Just empty. Because this wasn't just her quitting the marriage. She quit me. She walked out on the version of me that still believed love meant support, that you were supposed to build together, not bail when the road got foggy, that when someone dreams, you hold their hand, not mock their wings. I didn't cry that night. I didn't beg or call or text. I took Milo outside, stood in the middle of the quiet street, and looked up at the stars. And I made a promise to myself. If nobody else believes in me, I will. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets. Because maybe she needed someone who knew where his life was going. Well, so did I. And that's exactly what I was about to figure out. The days after she left were slow and shapeless. The kind of days where you forget what time it is, not because you're busy, but because nothing matters enough to check. I stopped shaving. Meals became whatever I could microwave in 3 minutes or less. My apartment felt like a museum of her absence. Blank closet space, a hollow perfume scent still clinging to the pillowcases, her old tea mug gathering dust on the counter. I worked my day job like a zombie, showed up, logged in, typed things that didn't mean anything to me. The only thing that kept me from totally unraveling was Brew Vault, and even that felt fragile. I was so used to hearing her voice in my head, mocking me that I started second-guessing every move I made. Why are you wasting time on this? Nobody's going to buy it. You're not that guy. But I kept going, not because I was brave, but because I had nothing else. Every night, I sat alone in my tiny office nook, refining my website, sending follow-up emails, tweaking copy, redesigning packaging layouts. I filmed my own product video with a $40 tripod and an old DSLR I borrowed from my cousin. It wasn't slick, it wasn't flashy, but it was mine. One of the cafes I'd pitched months earlier finally messaged back. They wanted 10 more units, said customers asked about it at the counter. That was the first glimmer. Then I posted a short demo video on TikTok, just me showing how the lid sealed, how you could stack 3 vaults on top of each other. It barely had 300 views the first day, but the next morning, 4,000. 2 days later, 15,000. Orders jumped, 10 here, 5 there. One guy from Oregon ordered 7. I started hand-packing each unit, printing shipping labels from my bedroom. Milo would lie by the door while I worked, like my little unpaid intern. It was slow. It was exhausting. It was beautiful. I was still far from making real money, but momentum is a strange drug. It wakes something up in you. And slowly I started seeing the man Melissa never saw. The one she couldn't wait for. The one who wasn't a failure just because his success hadn't arrived yet. I opened an Amazon seller account. Took a week to get approved, another to figure out the back end. But once it was live, Brew Vault started showing up in search results for coffee storage, an airtight container. It didn't go viral, but it didn't need to. It sold regularly. I was no longer questioning whether I had something. I knew I did. Then came the email that changed everything. Subject line, partnership opportunity. I clicked it, expecting spam, but it was from a guy named Kevin, head of sourcing for a coffee subscription box brand I'd followed for months. He said he'd seen my video and read reviews on my site. He liked the concept, asked if we could talk. I nearly dropped my phone. We scheduled a Zoom. The whole day leading up to that call, I was pacing. Sweaty palms, dry throat. I cleaned my office nook like it was a showroom. I even put a blazer over my hoodie, which looked ridiculous but made me feel like I knew what I was doing. When the camera came on, Kevin was sitting in a sunlit office with modern shelves and plants that didn't look plastic. He was smiling. "I love the design," he said. "Simple, functional, clean. You manufacture yourself?" "Not directly," I said. "Small U.S. supplier, short runs. Local, would you be able to scale?" My throat tightened. "Depends on the volume." He nodded. "What if we wanted 20,000 units for next quarter's box?" 20,000. I actually laughed, like an idiot. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. That call lasted an hour. By the end of it, we were working out sample deliveries, custom logo placements, and fulfillment options. When I hung up, I just sat there, frozen. Then I stood up and yelled so loud Milo jumped. I wasn't dreaming anymore. This was real. I'd spent months covered in shipping tape and doubt and rejection. But this was happening. All those nights Melissa rolled her eyes at me. All those times she left me eating dinner alone while she networked. All those nights on the couch wondering if I was delusional. It all led here. She thought I was drifting without a compass. But I wasn't lost. I was building my own map. The deal with Kevin's company moved fast. Faster than I was ready for, honestly. I spent the next 2 months buried in logistics, contracts, packaging upgrades, and a steep learning curve. But I stayed focused. Brew Vault went from a bedroom hustle to a real operation. I brought on a fulfillment partner, switched to a new manufacturer in Oregon who could handle volume, hired a freelance designer to clean up the branding, even had a trademark lawyer on retainer by the end of it. When the first 10,000 unit check cleared, I stared at the number so long I forgot how to blink. Then came the second client, a sustainable kitchenware brand from Seattle. They loved Brew Vault but wanted an exclusive bamboo edition with their logo engraved. I quoted high. They didn't even flinch. We signed that contract 2 weeks later. That month, Brew Vault crossed the 7-figure mark in total revenue. And just like that, I was the guy she didn't believe in. The guy who worked from a folding table while she scrolled TikTok in the next room. The guy who used to beg her to look at his prototype like it mattered. I wasn't bitter. Not anymore. I didn't have time to be. I was building, expanding, hiring. I was everything she didn't see. And that's when it happened. She messaged me, Melissa, the same woman who laughed at my dream, the same woman who left me a note instead of a goodbye. After a year of silence, no calls, no texts, no "I'm sorry," she popped back in like we'd just missed brunch. Her message was short, sweet, smug. "Hey, saw Brewvault online. Looks amazing. Can't believe how far you've taken it. Congrats. Would love to catch up sometime." Catch up? I sat there staring at my screen, trying to feel something, anger, sadness, glee. But I didn't feel any of those things. I felt nothing, just quiet recognition, like reading a weather forecast for a storm that already passed. Because some people only love you as long as you stay small, and the second you grow, they disappear. Let them go. You'll be amazed at who shows up when you finally show up for yourself.